Ask yourself why. Why exactly is Terrence Crawford being so annoyed by hammering Hank Lundy? How's it going, everybody? The weigh-in officially just happened, but before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Eric A. Bradley, aka The Real Fight Doctor, and we're going to get into this show a serious introduction to being careful on ordaining someone because of what they've already done, because when it comes down to it, it's not what you've done, it's what you have to do. Hammering Hank Lundy is from the Ville, and one of the key elements in getting into a fighter's head and winning a fight in spectacular fashion is to tap behind his membrane, get him emotionally involved in the fight so you can take him into that deep water, frustrate him, and make him make mistakes. Floyd Mayweather was the master at this. Why was he doing this to people? Why was he always annoying these guys at the press conferences? Why was he making them, demeanoring their social surrounding, their status, whether it was people being picked at whenever he shot little gay curves at Miguel Cotto and his friend while touching butts during the 24/7 episode, or even when it came down to just basically making you feel lesser of a human being than he was. It all worked because those guys compartmentalized that energy and then they brought it into the ring and it worked against him. Floyd was a masterpiece. He was masterful at doing this to fighters. It's the exact same thing that hammering Hank Lundy is doing. Let me make a clear example of this. Several years ago, the Denver Broncos acquired Peyton Manning. Why did they acquire him? He chose them. Why? Because over in the AFC, in that division, the teams are a lot easier to beat. You got teams like San Diego. They hardly ever make the playoffs. They consistently are mediocre. And then you have, on the other side of the AFC, the only other giant, which is Peyton Manning and the New England Patriots. So Peyton Manning was breaking all these records the first year he got there, just dominating and devastating and just absolutely making the AFC look asinine against him. But what was truly happening is he was doing this all against mediocre competition. But that same year, on the NFC side of the game, or the NFC side of the playing field, was the Seattle Seahawks, who were playing against the best players in the league, and they actually had the best players in the league. So there was a high-flying, soaring offense against a gallant defense with an offensive onslaught and a defensive prowess that you can compare them to the likes of some of the greatest NFL teams in sports history. What happened? Once that offense went up against a stellar defense, all of the things that made them look absolutely unstoppable were stoppable because they were matched up against players that could actually stop them. This was not like college where the scores are 77-7 or 56-0, where some of the guys that you're lining up against will be working at Taco Bell the next year after they graduate from college, and another guy will be in the NFL, in the Pro Bowl. That's how college matches teams up. Great coaches go out and get great players, then the other guys get everyone else. Same thing in the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing, you have guys coming into the sport and they have this accreditation straight out of the gate. Once you start to beat guys up, you know, they want to go ahead and get you into that fast lane. You're looking at Terrence Crawford, and he is no slouch. Best believe, I am not classifying him as that guy. He is the total real deal. He's from the Ville, and I don't think he likes the fact that Hank Lundy is questioning his fighting cachet. where he truly comes from. But as you look at this breakdown, Hank Lundy, excuse my French, is in this fight to do more than outbox him. He's practicing, he's focused. He's finally taking his career seriously. So you have to take this guy absolutely serious now, because he's not playing and he has experience and he wants to be back into that shine. Why? One more example about great teams going up against the team that's getting all the media hype. The Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton, or should I say Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers, have one of the most polarizing teams in the NFL. Why is that? Because they have two of the most polarizing players in Luke Kuechly and Cam Newton. Every time you turn on the television, these guys have commercials. They're high profile. They're sizzle. They're the shine. The women love them. The guys want to be them. No one could see Carolina losing. They almost went undefeated. But the Denver Broncos were that team that you could not figure out. Why is this? Because the simple fact is they weren't high flying. Peyton Manning wasn't throwing 400 and 500 yards a game, 6 and 7 touchdowns. Why? Because he could depend on his defense. They delivered him. So what does this have to do with the situation? Because Terrence Crawford is polarizing. Hank Lundy, he wants it. Herrera, he beat Herrera and got robbed his last fight. Understand one thing. Hank Lundy is in the right circles. He's training with Team Porter for the last fight. His conditioning, when he at the weigh-in, he looks absolutely amazing. I have not seen him look that chiseled and ripped and shredded. Not weightlifting chiseled, but shredded just because of the methodology he's implemented and the serious nature. Whenever you take that serious, when you take this sport serious, it shows up. And then you look at it. Once Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers, because no one could see him, they was running downhill on every single person and on every single team. They were unstoppable. But they had not faced an elite defense who had the exact same defensive prowess as they had offensive prowess. And needless to say, what happened in that fight was the exact same thing that always happens. Defense wins. Compose your wins. Denver stayed composed on defense and continuously to put a hat on Cam all night long. They put a hat on the running backs. They were fumbling. They were getting to the ball first. Fighting is about hustle. Who has the best hustle? Hank Lundy jumped straight out of the gate and started hustling to get inside of Terrence Crawford's mind. Because later on in that fight, he's looking that Terrence Crawford would try to impress the crowd and impress the judges and come away with the victory. And he's going to make sure that he finds that hole. He's going to look, he's going to know, and he's going to utilize that emotional impact that he's gotten into Terrence Crawford's head. Not that he could shake a guy like Terrence Crawford up, but he's going to test him. And that's where it's going. These guys are going heads up. So ask yourself before you just solidify Terrence Crawford as the victor, excuse me. Will he be the Carolina Panthers? Will he be the Denver Broncos of 2013? You have to ask yourself why. Because this may be a historic night in boxing. Don't just put your coin on the kid with all the cachet right now. Because this is boxing. They call me the Fight Doctor. And I thank you guys for watching.
Cool down.
And right now you're watching Master Boxing. And this is where we break the fight world down. Round by round. Shouts out to my boys over at BrooklynFights.com. Go out there for the best fight coverage, interviews. And right now they're getting that live footage in. So go check them out. My name is Eric A. Bradley, like I said before. Hashtag bring back the belts to the Zell family and the Basilio family. Holler at your boy. Peace. Crawford, Lundy, be careful about ordaining people too soon.